The snow fell heavy that Christmas Eve, blanketing the quiet suburban street in a thick white silence. Sarah sat alone on the cold porch steps, her thin coat doing little against the biting wind. She shivered uncontrollably, her body curled into itself as tears froze on her cheeks. Inside the house, laughter echoed from the warm living room where her in-laws gathered around a roaring fire, exchanging gifts and sipping hot cocoa. They had locked the door hours ago, telling her she didn't deserve to join them, not after another year of failure, another year without a child. Sarah had married Alex 5 years earlier, full of hope and love. He was kind then, or so she thought, a successful businessman from a prominent family. His parents seemed welcoming at first, his mother Elena smiling warmly at the wedding, his father Richard nodding approval, but beneath that facade lay a deep resentment. Sarah came from a modest background, her family hardworking, but not wealthy, and worst of all, she struggled with fertility issues that the family deemed unacceptable. It started subtly in the beginning. Elena would make comments over family dinners, asking when they would hear the pitter-patter of little feet. Sarah would smile politely, explaining they were trying, but it wasn't easy. Alex would squeeze her hand under the table, promising they had time, but as months turned to years, the comments grew sharper. Elena began blaming Sarah outright, saying things like, if you were a real woman, this wouldn't be a problem, or perhaps Alex should have chosen someone who could give him an heir. Richard stayed silent most times, but his disapproving glances spoke volumes. Then came the miscarriages. The first one hit Sarah like a storm. She was 12 weeks along, excited to finally share the news. But one night the pain came sharp and unrelenting. She lost the baby in the hospital. Alex held her as she cried, but when they returned home, Elena barely acknowledged the loss. Instead, she said maybe it's for the best, the child might have been weak anyway. Sarah felt her heart shatter, but she stayed silent, hoping things would improve. The second miscarriage came a year later. This time at 16 weeks, Sarah had felt the baby kick tiny flutters of life that gave her hope, but again it ended in blood and grief. This time Elena accused her of carelessness, saying she must have done something wrong, stressed too much, or not eaten right. Alex defended her weakly, but soon he too began to withdraw, spending more time at work, avoiding the tension at home. By the third and fourth miscarriages, Sarah was a shadow of herself. Depression settled over her like a heavy fog. She stopped eating properly, barely slept, her once vibrant eyes now dull and empty. The in-laws' treatment worsened. Elena would lock the pantry, saying Sarah didn't deserve good food if she couldn't provide a grandchild. Richard would mutter about how Alex's brother had 2 healthy sons already, making Alex feel inadequate by association. Sarah tried everything: doctor's appointments, fertility treatments, expensive procedures that drained their savings, but nothing worked. The doctors said repeated miscarriages sometimes had no clear cause. It could be genetic stress or just bad luck, but to the in-laws it was all Sarah's fault. They called her barren, behind her back whispered that she was cursed. Alex began to believe it too, his love turning to resentment. He stopped touching her, stopped looking at her with affection. Instead, he echoed his mother's words, telling Sarah she needed to try harder. The emotional abuse escalated. Elena would invite family over and make Sarah serve them like a maid while they ignored her, or worse, made snide remarks about her empty womb. Sarah would retreat to their bedroom, crying silently night after night. She thought about leaving, but where would she go? Her own mother lived far away, and Alex controlled the finances. Besides, she still loved him, or at least the man he used to be. That Christmas, the breaking point came. Sarah had suffered another early miscarriage just weeks before, the pain still fresh in her body and soul. She had hoped the holiday would bring some kindness, maybe a moment of compassion, but Elena had other plans. She accused Sarah of faking the miscarriage for attention, saying real women don't lose babies so easily. When Sarah broke down in tears, Elena told her to go outside and cool off, locking the door behind her. Hours passed. Sarah sat there, freezing, her fingers numb, her mind racing with thoughts of ending it all. The cold seeped into her bones, mirroring the emptiness in her heart. She didn't notice the car pulling up until headlights pierced the darkness. Her mother Lisa stepped out, bundled in a heavy coat, her face etched with worry. She had driven through the night after Sarah sent a desperate text earlier that day, saying she couldn't take it anymore. Lisa saw her daughter shivering on the steps and rage filled her eyes. She marched up to the door, pounding hard, until Richard opened it, looking annoyed. "What's this about?" he demanded. Lisa pushed past him, her voice steady but fierce. "Where is my daughter? You left her out in the cold." On Christmas Eve, Elena appeared smirking at first, but Lisa's glare silenced her. "You monsters," Lisa shouted. "How dare you treat her like this, after everything she's been through, the miscarriages, the pain you've caused her." Alex emerged from the living room, his face pale. "Mom, what are you doing here?" Lisa turned to him. "You let this happen, you let them destroy her." Alex stammered excuses, saying it was complicated family pressure, but Lisa cut him off. "No excuse for abuse. Emotional or otherwise, she's coming with me tonight." The argument exploded, Elena screaming that Sarah was ungrateful, that they had given her a good life, Richard threatening to call the police. But Lisa stood firm, grabbing Sarah's arm and leading her to the car. Sarah, too weak to resist, collapsed into the passenger seat. As they drove away, Lisa held her daughter's hand, promising, "You're safe now, baby, it's over." They stayed at a hotel that night, Lisa holding Sarah as she finally let out all the sobs she had held in for years. The next day, Lisa took her home to her small apartment far from the toxic house. Sarah began therapy, slowly unpacking the years of psychological torment, the constant blame, the isolation, the way her in-laws had chipped away at her self-worth until she believed she was worthless. Months passed. Sarah filed for divorce. Alex didn't fight it, perhaps relieved or ashamed. The court battle was brief, since there were no children, and Sarah's evidence of emotional abuse, including texts and recordings, swayed the judge. She got a fair settlement, enough to start over. With therapy and her mother's unwavering support, Sarah began to heal. She found a job, reconnected with old friends, and one day, at a support group for women who'd experienced infertility and abuse, she met Jack. He had his own scars from a previous marriage, but his kindness was genuine. He listened without judgment, held her when nightmares of the past resurfaced. Slowly, love bloomed again, not the desperate, clinging kind, but a gentle, steady one. Jack encouraged her to embrace her strength, to see that her worth wasn't tied to motherhood. They talked about the future without pressure. Sarah realized she didn't need a child to be whole. She was enough as she was. Years later, Sarah looked back on that freezing Christmas Eve as the night her life truly began, the night her mother saved her from the abyss of abuse and self-doubt. She forgave herself for staying so long, understood that abuse creeps in, slowly eroding confidence, until escape feels impossible, but she escaped and thrived. The in-laws tried to reach out once, Elena sending a card saying they missed her, but Sarah didn't respond. She had built boundaries strong and unbreakable. Her new life was filled with peace, love, and people who valued her for who she was, not what she could provide. In the end, Sarah learned that family isn't always blood or marriage. Sometimes it's the ones who stand up when you're falling, who fight for you when you can't fight for yourself. Her mother, Lisa, became her rock, and Jack her partner in healing, proving that after the darkest nights, light always finds a way in. Sarah never forgot the pain, but she transformed it into empathy, helping other women in similar situations through support groups and sharing her story anonymously online. She reminded them that abuse, whether emotional or psychological, leaves scars, but those scars can heal, that no one deserves to be treated as less than human, especially not for something beyond their control like infertility. On quiet evenings, Sarah would sit with Jack, watching the snow fall, remembering that Christmas Eve, not with bitterness, but with gratitude for the strength it awakened in her. She was free, resilient, and finally truly happy.